Just a man on a mission, ambition to never fail. Personality electric, he is animated male. Intelligent and wise, calm and often cool. Chris James giving opinions while also speaking the truth. Empathy and compassion. Stephen Michael is here, helping you through your traumas, helping you with your fears. These three forces combine and keep it honest. Turn up the volume, cause this is the application of knowledge.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Boys and girls and children of all ages.
This ain't a children's show.
What constitutes a child?
I guess it could be. We don't talk about crazy stuff, though.
If they don't.
Oh, we definitely don't need children watching this.
Nah, definitely don't need no kids. I mean, they can if
They
want.
can watch it.
Yeah, we don't be saying
Saying nothing too wild.
Too wild.
Except for fuck them kids, right?
Wow.
Wow.
Remember?
You said that.
No,
Steve.
I said that?
No,
Yeah,
no.
Basically,
You said
he basically said it a few weeks back. He was like, children are like they're parasites.
Oh, they're parasites. Oh, that's not the same
not the
thing.
Same thing, right?
I mean-
But that's what Mel did. But nah, what constitutes a child?
Shit.
Like, is there an age or is there? I guess it's their maturity level. But how do you gauge someone's maturity level? Is maturity level based on what society deems that someone should know, or is it their behavior? Everything is silly, you know.
This is a tough question.
asking.
Well, because I think the people would typically say, well, they're under 18 or under a certain age.
So age doesn't necessarily dictate someone's of who they should be.
If they're a child or an adult.
Yeah, but you can gauge. But I think there's a distinct difference between an adult and a child. I think it's more about experience, because a lot of your experiences shape the way that you behave, and it shapes the way that you think about things. And kids, they just approach things like, I've never experienced it. I have no thought process about this. So I'm just going to do this and have fun, you know. When you go to an adult, you got all this trauma. Life has been on me. You know?
The dictionary definition of a child is a young human being below the age of puberty or below the legal age of majority.
I don't think it should be based on a legal whatever, you know, because that's something that people create and say, hey, you get this age, you're this, you know, but people develop sooner.
Also, the other definition, right? Because, you know, they have one definition, they got these other ones. An immature or irresponsible person. So basically, they're saying a child is 13, 14, right? So below puberty age, or an immature, irresponsible person. So by that definition, you can have an adult child. Well, I mean, of course, right? You know, our parents may look at us and be like, well, that's still my child. I think that's just a term. But I mean, I've talked about like men, and there being men who are children, who are in relationships, or they're men who are married or have children, and they're still children. So I don't think age is a good gauge to say this is a child. I mean, I think the easiest way for me to explain it, and Mel, you might agree, would be just where you're at emotionally, how you deal with life.
But in that case, if okay,
come on, man, let's go with it. What do you got?
I'm just gonna push the thought. In that case, if there's not a particular age, would you be okay with dating someone that
No.
is clearly
No.
you need some growing to do.
No.
But mentally, they're at that adult level, but it's just physically they aren't. there.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Well, still, no. And the reason is because, like, me personally, if I didn't know the age of a person, let's just say I was just out and about, and let's say I'm traveling to a different country, right? So maybe they look younger than what I'm used to, or whatever. Like, because I can go to a different country, and if they have a better way of eating, if they eat more whole foods, then they may be 18, 19, 20, 21, but then look younger, right? It just makes sense. Biologically, you're going to look younger if you're taking, better health, taking care of your health at a younger age. So, I mean, me personally, I still would not want to date that person because I like the way an adult human female looks. So even if she was no to the way you explained it, which would be like 16 or 17, but very mature. No, because also, right, society, there's laws against that stuff. Yeah. And I'm niggas ain't trying to go to jail. So obviously no, but also I prefer a woman who looks like a woman. I don't like teenagers or, and that I don't like that look.
Yeah, right, Chris?
Think I have a piece of hair like stuck in the top of my eyelid. And it won't come down.
You want to go to the doctor?
Wow.
You want to go to the doctor? What's the eye doctor? What, optometrist?
Optometrist.
I know what they call them.
If what you say, endocrinologist? What did you say? I'm just now thinking of a big word. Optometrist.
I mean,
no.
Fix up them eyes.
I do my best to avoid them as much as possible.
Yeah, man, don't worry about
I think it's a good discussion. I think that it's like we definitely can't use age because 14-year-olds used to get married, so and raise families. So you can't say 18 because we and also different cultures. People,
right.
They have different ages, but aging isn't a real thing either.
Right.
So biologically, that's not a good indicator. I would agree that, how you handle your emotions, your mental capacity, your ability to function in whatever, I guess in modern society, I suppose we'd have to say, depending on whatever society you live in, the ability to function optimally, an infant couldn't function optimally in society.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they would be discounted. But yeah, man, I think that if I guess as long as you're still developing,
it's not so easy to define, actually.
no, that's why I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because what is a woman?
Oh.
Nah.
I mean, that's an easy one for me.
It's really easy.
That's an easy one, but to take something that simplistic and make it so complicated, something so simplistic as what is a child, is actually pretty complicated.
I think it's actually more difficult to determine what a child is and what a woman is.
Have you watched that movie yet?
I have.
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, we won't talk about it yet.
I mean, we can.
I mean, you can't talk about it if you haven't
seen it.
I know, but I've seen like clips and stuff. But I watch it.
I mean, if you've seen clips, you get the gist of it. But I mean, there's more. Did you watch the other one?
I didn't have time. But I've been. Yeah, I mean.
Okay.
But, I mean,
she should have named it "White Lives Matter."
No.
Have you had a chance to watch it?
The documentary was done before that. That was Kanye's thing, and it was right before she launched.
I know,
okay.
Joking. And it has nothing to do with her. She just wore the shirt.
Yeah.
Did you want to touch on it, or you want to wait until?
What? No, let's wait till you watch it.
All right.
I mean, we could touch on that whenever. It'd be better to talk about Kanye.
I'm about to say, honestly, I would love to talk about Ye.
What's going on with Ye, man?
Because-
I've seen a few things.
He legally changed his name to Ye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, he's why does
It's sort of like a Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, or
Prince.
is it because his name, he signed contracts under his name, and in order to move independent of it, he had to drop his name? Because that's what they do.
That's why Prince changed his name to. Didn't he change his actual name to the artist formerly known as Prince?
He just it's the symbol.
Okay.
I don't know if he changed his name because his name wasn't in question. Prince was in question.
He couldn't use Prince.
Well, he couldn't use Prince.
Yeah. So he changed Prince to the artist
Formerly known as Prince.
Yeah, I mean the artist or the.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean I don't know the particulars, but his name is Ye, so I'll respect his name.
I mean, it's just complicated.
Oh, go ahead.
I've been calling him Kanye for.
I mean, he's
still gonna be Kanye.
People calls him Kanye.
He is doing some next level stuff. I'm telling y'all.
Something's
We're
going
gonna get
on.
into it.
I don't honestly. I don't really know everything because like in the last week or two, some stuff has really changed.
Man.
And I don't. And I'm like, I haven't had a chance to catch
You're
up.
not really locked in.
I'm just.
I mean, I be following
I
Kanye,
think I'm
but-
gonna say a couple days ago, I was just like, cause people post on Facebook and I see all these comments or tweets on social media of people talking down and even like all these websites blasting Kanye. He's not a billionaire anymore. He's not this and not that. And I'm literally just sitting here laughing like these motherfuckers is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I literally feel like, I'm sure there's more, but I literally feel like I am the only one who's understanding anything Kanye's conveying and saying. Because all these messages that are comments that I see of people, I'm like, y'all are insane. Calling him racist and saying that, like, literally everything that he's talking about how a particular group of a group of people, they did something that's, I guess, in a sense, taking control, and he called them out on it.
Right.
And if you consistently call someone out on it over time, eventually they'll start to listen. But if you listen to Kanye over just history, I haven't seen him do anything that's in the detriment of black people. In my humble opinion, I've seen things that challenge the norm or it challenges the mindset. But obviously, if you have a mindset that's so trapped in this system, you can't even realize that you're literally just living everything that he was saying is happening. He comes out and speak about what's happening to him, but everyone, even the black community, is focused. Hey, but you know what you said. What you said, what you said, this was wrong. Okay, let's put our emotions to the side for a minute. Can we acknowledge that regardless of me saying this, it doesn't change the fact that this is still happening. It's still happening. And
Is it wrong if it's true?
Well, that's the problem.
That's-
you can't speak truth.
And and I be, man, I just get so, I'm just like, dude, I promise you, I had a post written out on my Facebook.
What did he say? What did he?
Yeah, man. What did he say?
Like, because I saw the thing about the DEFCON 3, and that was like the last thing
well,
that I saw.
that was a big one, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Right. Yeah, that was that the last thing you
Which
said,
was-
and
which
it's still
was-
blowback from that, or was he?
I think that was the main thing.
Okay.
I believe it was the main thing as well, but I'm like, there has to be more than that because this isn't even something. Like,
Then
this
he,
is nothing.
what he said, when he's on Drink Champs, he mentioned that when George Floyd was down, the cop wasn't even on his neck like that.
Right.
And, you know, he further, I mean, basically explaining everything that he saw in the documentary with Candace Owens. And I guess the black community didn't like him for that.
Man.
I heard that he said that George Floyd died from fentanyl
Yeah, because
overdose.
fentanyl was in the system. He died from that.
So that's why fentanyl became such a big thing.
Well,
'Cause
fentanyl's been an issue. It legitimately has, but it hasn't.
When was the first time you heard fentanyl?
What's his name? Mac Miller.
I mean,
I'll say first time, but one of the first times. Mac Miller. He's a rapper.
Okay, he died a few years ago.
Yeah, before George
living in Pennsylvania, I've heard of fentanyl 5 years ago.
Okay.
But I live in a different world, so
Right,
it's
so
not
that's a world
mainstream.
where people are into that. I'm trying to figure out, we have mainstream as far as, because I feel like, well, me personally, I didn't start hearing about fentanyl until the past couple of years.
3 years probably.
When did George Floyd die?
2 years ago.
Okay, so
Right? Has it been 2 years? 2020? Yeah.
well, I don't know when he died. So
I think it was May 2020, I think.
2.5.
I just watched the
Man,
documentary.
I stand with Ye with everything that he's doing.
So
Everything.
you support him 100%.
Yeah, I rock with him. I mean, I have some, like, okay, but I understand where he's going and I understand his mindset.
You can agree with a person without agreeing with everything that comes out of their mouth.
I can.
Because there's certain things that he says or does, and I would say I wouldn't do it in that way. but I'm not Kanye, right? I'm not Ye.
And
So,
I understand. That's what's like.
but I can understand the message.
He has an ego. Everyone has an ego. He has a personality, and he maybe says things that most people don't understand. But everything that he said, it to me makes sense. And most people, they conflate or confuse, I guess, him being a rapper, and they confuse him being with the Kardashians, or they confuse that with him being able to grow. And they say he promotes, like his movements are basically contradicting. You can't wear a White Lives Matter shirt and say you're for black people. You can't say.
But you can.
You can't wear the red MAGA hat and say that you represent black people.
Now
that's
super hypocritical.
But that's because as black people, we have been forced Democrat down our throat our entire lives. We didn't have a choice. And you look at I'm sure all of our parents are all Democrats. We were all Democrats. And if you look at, as we talked about before, if you just take a look at what's been done for our community under, maybe more conservative rule, there's actually been more done.
Yeah. The hypocrisy comes from the fact that when black people were trying to explain to white people that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean they're anti-white, that was okay, right? Look, we're just saying that black lives, they need emphasis right now. We're being slaughtered by the police, which was never actually true.
Which was not statistically correct either.
It was never true. And like I've said in many videos, I have vehemently been against that narrative. But now that Kanye is saying the same thing, which I understand that people feel like there doesn't need to be an emphasis on white lives mattering, but the reality is there are a lot of sects of white people that are in very bad shape.
Right.
Like, for many different reasons. The plight of black people isn't the only plight in existence. If the problem is that people don't understand that this is not about race, it's about class.
Right.
So if you don't understand that simple nuance, then you're going to be like, white privilege and white people, and they're doing this and they're doing that. The reality is, there's classes of people, white, black, Asian. Top G said it best. If you have a white billionaire and a black billionaire, do you think they're talking about race and they're talking about their yachts and their cars and They get along.
They don't talk about
fine.
that stuff. They don't talk about it. It doesn't come up. It's not a thing.
Yeah, they don't talk about race at all.
No. And if anything, and I don't know, they would promote it for business purposes, right? Like they would promote segregation. Like, when we talk about, and it's unfortunate you have to talk about it this way, but you have Black Lives Matter, which is the movement, which is, people saying, hey, we matter. Like, we're being gunned down, whatever, like our lives matter, right? You have that section. And then you have Black Lives Matter, which is the actual charity, the group, which are two different things.
They're two different entities.
Right. And once again, I guess there's a lot that you can say about that, but when you make them synonymous, that's where you have the problem.
Agreed.
Because we all agree that black lives do matter, right? But so do Asian lives, so do white lives, so do Indian lives, right? They all matter,
so
right?
It's really Captain Obvious. Like, you don't really need to say that.
You don't really need to say it, but the reason it was said and during that time was because it was like, hey, listen, there's some crazy stuff happening. We need to just make this a sticking point. And the whole thing about, the whole White Lives Matter thing was just like, I think that was Kanye getting a little attention. He was at one of his shows, right? And it got attention. Candace just happened to be there. She didn't know about it until she showed up, and he was like, hey, you want to wear one of these shirts? And she was like, okay, sure. Like, but it's just like, when I saw it, my first initial reaction was I was taken back. Like, whoa, what do you mean? Right? Just my initial reaction. And then I was like, well, I mean, they do. Right. I mean, when I'm saying my initial reaction, I'm talking about it took me about 10 seconds when I first saw it. I'm like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? and then I just thought about it for a second. I'm just like, I mean, okay. What's the message they're trying to convey here?
That white lives matter. I mean, it's not an inflammatory statement. I think
but it is.
Right. And
Because
that's
because it was Twitter or Instagram. Somebody, you can't search it, or TikTok. You can't search
Right.
it. So
Right.
it was removed because
it.
it was hateful. But you can search Asian Lives Matter,
Right.
Black Lives Matter,
Yeah.
white, you can search all those. But it's just like, as you were talking about with classes, you have if you go to these, like, let's just say lower class areas, and you have black people, white people, they get along. Like, everyone's there and everyone's just mixed in. I mean, we were traveling just recently, and we were in not the greatest areas, and everyone got along. Actually, and most of the area was white, and people were very nice to us. I mean, it was like, these people are really nice down here. But that's because it's like, when you look at classes, it's like, well, we're all the same. But then you have the middle class, and you have upper middle class. That's when things start to get sticky. And that's where the real war is. But
True. Middle class, the majority of the issues today, if you look at people's issues, if there was a way to statistically classify people's issues, I would imagine middle class has the most issues out of any group of people, as far as classes go. You would think it'd be poor people, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's really the middle class. Because poor people don't have anything, so they have less stress because they don't have anything.
more money, more problem, baby.
You know?
And then I guess you're in the middle, so you're like reaching for the top, but also being dragged down by the bottom.
Right.
Yeah.
And the laws and the inflation, all this stuff is just making
Taxes.
is pulling the middle class further down, and it's shrinking the actual middle class, right? Well, I guess there's always going to be a middle class, whatever that middle is, but the median income and what you can do with your dollar for the middle class is actually decreasing, and the wealthy is actually increasing. Right. So, like, everything that happens, all this race stuff, man, it's all it's all a distraction. That's all it is. It's all divisive. And, when you look at things on a spiritual level, not political, not physical, I mean, we're more powerful as Superman's symbol is stronger together. We are stronger when we are united, right? Just like a family that has a husband.
Why
wife.
isn't his symbol a U then?
I don't know. Listen, I didn't create
Or it could be an 8.
I didn't.
I mean, but don't
You
you
mean an infinity sign?
but don't you think that if Kanye or if Ye decided to, I guess, speak out against a system that has been consistent throughout the music industry, the sports industry, the movie industry within Hollywood, if he speaks out against that, and he is I guess he's not a billionaire anymore, but
Whatever.
yeah.
What
But
does that even mean?
he's a billionaire man that has a lot of influence and a lot of money and a lot of power. If he spoke up, and then the people who are his so-called friends united with him, and they all came together, because just imagine how powerful it would be if someone like Kanye, Jay, Beyonce, Rihanna, and all these figureheads, maybe even Oprah, and just people who are within the black community, who has this power of influence, and they decided that they wanted to, make a change within things, instead of, hey man, we can't say it like that. We should be quiet. We shouldn't do it this way because they'll start blackballing you and they'll start banning you in places. Like, if you come together with that amount of people and that amount of influence, you can make a big old wave. But instead, Kanye's out there by himself. Mm-hmm. He's literally out there by himself speaking for his people, for the people, but he's getting all the hate from the people that he's trying to support. So when you speak about family and people coming together and uniting for a single cause, where's that happening at? Where is that happening? If you look at all the interviews that Kanye's been doing, or the podcast that he's been doing, he's done Piers Morgan, he's done Lex Friedman, he's done Cuomo, I think. He's did Drink Champs. And
Twice, really. He did Drink Champs.
Drink Champs twice. And he's also, he's just been.
Has he been? He hasn't been on the Breakfast Club. Has he?
Nah, the Breakfast Club is actually starting to piss me off because they are literally in everything. He's lost his billionaire stuff. They're like reporting it. And the funny thing is, he says so many good things, so many uplifting and powerful messages in all of his podcast interviews, but they'll take 1 minute of something that he says that's either playful or just being, a little bit
newsworthy,
right? Or just
sound bites.
Yeah,
literally sound bites, and they'll say something that he mentioned his penis size in the Lex Friedman podcast, and actually I really think that Lex Friedman podcast, if you haven't seen, is probably one of the best ones that Kanye has done.
I have not seen.
But he's done those podcasts, and he has a mention of, he mentions they people like me, but they hate me because of my big cock or something like that. But he was just being silly, and Lex Friedman replied like, yeah, that's the first thing that I realized that when I saw it. It's like, oh man, that's a big cock. But they'll play, but they're just being silly, but they played that over and over on all these media waves, and they'll also just play all these remarks of him saying things, but they'll never speak about when he's talking about bringing people together, how the industry is constantly being controlled, and how this particular group of people, they have control over this people. I mean, they have control over the entire industry. And he recently, yesterday, came out with an interview. It's like a 16-minute interview. I think
Was outside after the basketball.
Yeah, you saw that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he just has it like, hey, this red list, these people in red, these are the people that it was like an Excel spreadsheet. He was like, these are the people that are all
control the media.
Yeah, and it was all basically all red, and it was the group that he was talking about.
They are the Jewish CEOs. So the CEOs of the companies that he named.
Yeah, like it was basically everything. Basically everything that controls everything.
I mean, this is it's
statistically, what's the chance of that if it wasn't just by, you know what I'm saying, with the intention?
But when you call that out, and it's still nobody is focused on what he's calling out. They're only focused on what he's saying when he's calling them out.
Right.
Like, that is so fucked up.
Because
that is like a bully. That is literally like a bully bullying everybody. And then the person decides to stand up to the bully. I'm going to stand up to this bully. And then you react in a way that the bully is not expecting. And now everyone's coming at you like, yo, why did you react that way?
It's almost victim shaming.
Why did you react this way? And
Right.
everyone's complaining to you, the one who's being bullied. But how you gonna tell me to react to the way I'm being bullied? This is the reaction. But no, you can't respond that way. You're not allowed to respond that way. You must do it this way.
It's
You
not
have to peacefully protest.
It's not exactly what he's saying. They don't like how he's saying it. And
It's so stupid.
We've heard that
well, of
before.
course, right, exactly. So that's why I said that I agree with. I mean, a lot of stuff Kanye says. Once again, doesn't mean that I agree with everything he says, and it doesn't mean that I would say things that way. But that's also why yay is yay, and I'm me. So that's what makes us different. And a lot of people don't, especially now. Everything is so soft, and you can't offend people, and all this stuff. And it's just like somebody said something to me one time, and they were just like, well, like I'm coaching them, and they're just like, well, like I kind of take offense to that. You hired me to coach you, not to nurse your feelings, right? You're in a potentially life or death situation. Do you want me to not offend you, or would you rather me just be honest with you and offend your feelings so I can help save your life? Like and we didn't. She didn't want to continue.
She bounced.
She would rather have been not offended.
That's crazy.
It's the craziest thing. So
And it was a woman.
yeah.
Yeah, women tend to need to be spoken to. Modern women tend to need to be spoken to a certain way. If you offend them, they will shut down.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what I will say is there is a delicate dance there.
Oh, I dance,
You know
baby.
what I mean?
dance.
The way that a man speaks to a group of men and the way that he speaks to a group of women definitely has to be different. But I don't disagree with you at all. And one thing that I just realized as we were talking, I said, they're doing Kanye the same way they did Kevin Samuels. They won't watch his full broadcast.
Right. They just watch the clips. They don't
That's
listen
the
to him.
only way that you could be this upset because Mel, you make extremely good points. Yes, the interviews are always really good. You know what I mean?
Same thing with Top G.
Exactly. So all of the most inflammatory people on the planet right now in modern societies, people don't actually listen to their content.
Right.
That's the only way you can paint them this way.
There's literally no excuse, man. And you know what I also realize is that what we're going through within the society right now, it's like we're in history. We're in history
we're making
right
it.
now. Like people, like we didn't live in those times of Malcolm X and like Martin Luther King, but we saw the impact that they did and influence that they had on people. Like, and obviously it's different times, but I feel like what's happening with Andrew Tate, Kanye West, and even Kyrie Irving a little bit. I feel like these are people who are speaking up and they have voices that are penetrating to the masses, and they're also trying to be silenced by the people that are in control. You know, so I feel like we are in a pivotal time because I feel like a lot more people are aware of it, and it's becoming more of a movement than anything, because I feel like a lot of people who, you know, I guess would question Kanye, they're like, oh, well, he's actually, you see in a lot of comments, like, oh, he's actually making a lot of sense. And the funny thing is, like, you'll see that more people who are conservative are understanding what Kanye's talking about. And then you see a lot of people who are liberal bashing him. And I'm just like, I wish these fuckers would just wake up. I wish they would wake up, because like, I don't understand how, like, consistently, like when Kanye has said George Bush doesn't care about black people, it was in defense of black people. It was always in defense of black people. And so it's hard for me to, like, I can have an opinion, but I don't attach my emotions to that opinion when it comes to something that just blatantly makes sense to me.
I feel like with when Kanye made that statement, he was slated. No one can ever call him a racist or against his own people. To make that statement at that time on that platform, how can you ever question him?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like you see where his heart is. You confuse his fame or his money or his his family unit. Don't confuse. He's been consistent. He's passionate.
Been very consistent.
He's been very passionate. But people will say, especially on the Breakfast Club, Charlamagne shits on him so much, and it's really,
I do
really
not like Charlamagne.
It's really irritating the way that he does that, because if he's supposed to be someone that at one point in time he considered a friend, like, that's not friendship at all.
Charlamagne is the number one opportunist in America, is what he is.
Just jumps. Just
I mean, I can respect the hustle.
I mean,
but
business wise,
but also, I mean, you're kind of a fool if you rock with him like that.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
The thing is, like, I respect Charlamagne's mind and perspective on certain things, and he does offer, a few challenges, but he's so caught up in the liberal narrative and pushing this, that it's just like you're not even understanding what you're doing is so detrimental, because everything that we need people to stick together, and you're so divisive.
It's extremely divisive.
It's so divisive, man. So constantly giving, if on his donkey of the days, or if it's just giving rumors, reports, or whatever, they're consistently consistently just spreading bad things that he said or things that they don't agree with, but they never, in the hours of content that Ye has, they never focus on any of those talking points that highlight things that they need to get out of, and that is very important to the community, man. And so, like, when I see them, just like, I can't really, kind of hesitant. Like, even Andrew Schultz went at Kanye. I'm just like,
oh, he went hard.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, he
And the
went
thing-
hard.
And the thing is, I like Schultz, man. So I'm just like,
He's Jewish, isn't he?
nah, I don't think. I mean, I know he has a big nose, and I don't
Are
know.
you sure?
You know what? I can't say that 100%, but I don't think he's Jewish.
I know he's from New York.
No. He's from New York. His mom's from Ireland. He has Ireland.
Irish?
Irish, yeah.
Well, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
Jewish is not a race.
Yeah, it's just a group of people.
I don't know. I don't know if he's Jewish or not. All I know is, well, he's an entertainer. So,
Yeah, he's a comedian.
His reaction could be purely entertainment.
It could be, but he's also, I don't know. I feel like he's right in the middle. So while he may understand Ye in some sense, I feel like since everyone's talking or hopping on this train to bash him, it's just easy pickings.
It is.
It is
low-hanging fruit.
real easy instead of just trying to say, okay, what is Ye actually doing that's detrimental?
Nothing.
What is he doing what is he doing himself as just one individual that's detrimental to society?
Black Lives Matter was way more detrimental than Ye.
Oh my God.
Period. You talk about the when was the last before BLM, because BLM was the last time that I can say that black people rallied behind something for the most part, I guess. Right? When was the last time before that we act like nothing in my lifetime that I can remember where we we're like, yeah.
I mean, you know, in small, there's microcosms. We
Right.
have
I'm
the
talking about
riots,
I'm talking about on a national level like this, like where so but
the Million Man March. You talking about that? Like,
maybe.
I don't know
Okay.
exactly what you.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you know, like that movement was where everybody that was black was essentially like, yeah, man, we matter. It's like when we started to pick up steam for like the first time that I could ever remember.
Okay.
And then now they literally just like took a dick and slapped the person in the face. Like literally,
Yeah.
you took all of that money and I know you guys haven't seen the documentary yet, but
Well, I already knew.
all of that money, the $90 million that they had raised, she money laundered it.
Yeah.
And she filtered it through companies that she owned. She filtered it through companies that her friends owned, these charities, and most of them, believe it or not, you would think, okay, well, the charities are whatever, at least black, right? At least the charities are black. They're not. They're actually LGBTQ.
Yeah, this only focused on that.
They're-
Only.
So you took $90 million. You bought your own stuff. You do your own thing, right? And this all on her tax returns because they're a nonprofit, so they have to spend the money.
They didn't do anything illegal.
They didn't. They didn't do anything illegal. But the problem is that you now took the trust of not just the black community but the people who supported the black community, and you pissed on them. And you took all that money. You paid your brother, you paid your baby dad, millions of dollars.
Right.
She's a lesbian, right?
Right, I don't.
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah,
why.
the
And that's
leaders, the top 3 leaders originally were LGBTQ+.
and
plus
that's
ABC.
why the money is being filtered into LGBTQ, and it's just like this whole. I mean, they're going hand in hand.
The narrative was never about black families.
Yeah.
It was. See, this is the problem. A lot of different movements, they hijack our energy and they use it for their own purposes. They did it with the feminist movement in a huge way. They're doing it with Black Lives Matter. They've done it with the Democratic Party. I mean, we are only being used because we have no root system.
Right.
We have no community. We have no history. We don't even know our traditional foods.
Soul food? What you talking about?
Our traditional beliefs. We don't even. A lot of people are confused about their names. Like, so we're basically flapping in the wind, and we can be used by any movement, community, or people because we have no foundation.
Yeah, we're the only ones.
And this is the reason why what Kanye says and even Andrew Tate and what Kevin Samuels was saying is so important, which is why, one thing I noticed, everybody that I listen to that is at that level, including Jordan Peterson, whenever they talk about their experience in real life, it's always completely different from the online experience.
Yeah.
They're always like, bro, when I go out, people love me.
Yeah.
They always want to take pictures. So we are literally living in 2 different worlds. They're parallel dimensions, and one is the internet world and one is the reality world. But in reality, these people that supposedly are just so this and so that are actually loved by the people in reality. But internet seems to be used as a tool to make us believe it's something different.
Right. Media controls everything. So if you can
And who owns the
control
media?
who sees, who's not seen.
We don't.
Those that shall not be named.
Yeah, those shall not be
Kanye
named.
had me weak in that interview last night. He was like, I got misdiagnosed by a doctor. I'm not going to say what doctor or who what the hospital was. He was Jewish. He was Jewish.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Stephen. I don't want to
Exactly.
cut you.
Yeah.
Nah, man. I guess I was just saying like the whole the we rallied behind something. We lost the trust of it's gonna be hard to if someone genuinely comes up again and like tries to create a movement like that again. It's gonna be hard for people to rally behind it because everything was mismanaged. The money was laundered into all of these LGBTQ charities, and none of them have actually done their taxes. So there's no accountability for all that money.
Here's the thing, though, Steve. We don't have the ability to create a movement like that's genuine because of the way that they have conditioned us.
Right,
We would only support a movement like that.
Which is being single, being independent, being divisive, because all of those things support family. And this is why this is why it can be very frustrating, because when you talk about the LGBT community, if you want to have family, you want to live your life your way, right? But when you start force feeding that to people, and now what they're doing is it's not just being force fed online, right? It's being force fed in all manners. It's in our schools, it's in history, or it's going into children's books. So they're basically saying, okay, well we can't force feed this on this millennials, right? Then we gotta go to the next generation and the next generation. So we'll just start it as kids. And then in the next 20 years, that's going to be normal.
That's
where
how you
there
do
is
it.
no nuclear family. For example, right, new Call of Duty just came out. And, they always, when the game drops, you have badges, you have calling cards and stuff. You kill somebody and it shows it shows like a calling card. And obviously the game just came out 2 days ago. And right now they only have like 4 or 5 regular badges, which are just like Modern Warfare 2 or beta, like all just really basic things before they really start to get going and releasing stuff. Well, they have 4 or 5 regular badges, and they have like almost 15 other badges. Can you guess what these other badges possibly could be? Call of Duty.
Him, her, they, she, we.
LGBTQ. Pride. They're every single one of them. Rainbows, flags, they're all pride. So for different genders, there's different flags. And how you identify, you can pick one of these flags.
They're gonna take the 7 how many
72 that I know
the
of.
72, and they're gonna give them all a badge.
I mean, there's more Pride badges than there are Call of Duty badges,
which actually represents the game,
right? Which
Insane.
which to me it doesn't like. Listen, I don't understand.
Like,
said,
why
why is that in the game?
Yeah, like what is the point of that?
So here's what we have to ask ourselves: how is a community that is absolutely minuscule? I mean, absolutely.
We're talking. I think it's less than 5%. I forget the number, but
it's absolutely minuscule. How do they have such a large voice? And why is it that communities that have been shouting at the rooftops for decades before this movement ever even was a thing, how is it they have zero traction? I feel like people, it's like, do you not see that this doesn't actually add up? Like the math ain't mathing.
And math don't math. And when it get questioned on stuff, it's just like, this doesn't make sense. Like it doesn't make sense. Like man, I'm not gonna lie. It made me. I mean, I already bought the game. Yeah, I'm invested now, but it made me want to say, you know what, Call of Duty. I don't think I'm gonna buy another video game. I legitimately do not think that I may not, and not just simply because of that, but it's just like, how did you guys get roped into this?
Right.
Like Like, this has absolutely nothing to do with the video game. And it's not like it was a content pack that was released
Right,
later.
it's a standard.
It is at launch.
Yeah.
You have more Pride badges, and this is a display. So when someone clicks on your name and they're in a lobby, this is your display.
Yeah.
Like it baffled me, and I was just like, what?
Okay, so who owns Activision? If we follow the money, if we follow the paper trail, you'll have your answer. And it goes back to what Kanye is saying.
Yeah.
Which is why they are clawing at him, because what he's saying makes it very easy to see what's going on. And the thing is, he talked about Jewish people, right? I think originally, and then he corrected. He corrected himself. He's like, no, it's a certain sect of Jewish people, because it's not all Jewish people. Just like, you know what I mean? It's bad to generalize, I guess, sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say all black people are robbers and yada yada. Like,
I mean, that goes for anything.
Right, exactly.
Anything, right? So he can't. But I mean, I knew that he wasn't saying. You know what I'm saying?
Right. He's talking about certain people.
They just
Just say the person's name. Like, all these group of people just happen to be the exact same thing. So this is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at who are the central bankers? Who's controlling the flow of money? The policies.
He's talking too loud.
Who
That's the same reason Andrew Tate got canceled, man. They're talking too loud.
I mean, but this is old information. That's the
Right,
thing.
but he's so big. It's
True,
old to us.
No one at his size has ever.
It's right. It's old to us.
People at this size don't talk like this.
Well, you had Michael. People say Michael Jackson started talking crazy, and that's why they did.
Right.
Same with Prince. Like, you just
Right.
start talking, and they say, "Oh no, you're not following the plan."
Why is that known though? Like, even though we don't necessarily have any proof, like, okay, this person was targeted or he got, but why is that just known? Like, if you say something, hey man, something might happen.
Yeah.
It's known.
You might disappear.
That's just known that people who speak up or out against, they end up getting a target on their back.
Okay, good question. Why is it known? Because the media wants you to know that to help so that you keep your mouth shut. They want you to believe that if you speak out, you're gonna get got.
You'll get canceled.
To the point where there's a term Eddie Bravo used to use all the time. Oh, he got suicided, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like,
They don't want people like Eddie Bravo speaking. Eddie Bravo, Tate, or anyone who speaks against the masses. Like, Eddie Bravo said, he can't even go on Instagram and follow anyone.
follow.
He can't because he's so bad. Like, he'll go on someone's page, clicks follow, say follow, and then you go back and just like he's not.
You know what
even
I would
there.
love to see? And I don't know if this is gonna happen, but I would love to see if Elon
Does something.
unban Andrew Tate.
He probably will. I think on Monday, because
Oh, is that when everything's happening?
he owns Twitter now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
which
he
I did.
he
went through
officially
with it.
well, it wasn't that he wasn't trying to. They weren't letting him. So, but he officially owns it, and he fired
75%.
He fired the top executives,
CEOs,
lawyers.
CFOs.
He fired them.
This is an amazing show. Tell me more.
I mean, it just started.
Yeah, it just started.
It just
First
started,
season.
and that was Friday or something like that. It just happened.
You know, it's funny.
You know this is a show, though, right?
Yeah,
course.
oh, yeah.
Okay, all
This is the biggest entertainment
okay.
ploy in the world.
okay.
But I would love, number one, I need to see Donald Trump come back. He needs to unban.
You know, the funny thing is that as soon as he made a tweet, it's called "The Bird is Free" or "Free the Bird." There was an uprise percentage use of the word nigga.
Get out of here.
They said it went up 75%. Even LeBron, he
On Twitter?
yeah, it was reposted it. He was like, I don't know Elon, and I don't give a damn who owns Twitter, but this is some serious thing that we need to be addressing as far as the percentage use of it. And then I think Hotep Jesus, he responded to LeBron and basically gave him go to your settings, go to privacy, security, or whatever, and then put out the words that you want muted so it won't show up on your timeline.
Oh,
Problem solved.
problem solved.
You know, Like, instead of just banning someone and forbidding them from being online.
Don't get it twisted. Twitter is still a business, right? They
It's
have ad
now
space.
private, though.
They're still going to. Yes, that is correct. But they're
took
still
it
going
private.
Yeah, it's no.
It's no longer on NASDAQ.
Oh, it's actually off right now.
Listen,
Oh wow. Yeah. That's,
Elon. So what happens to the shareholders when you take your business private?
I mean, I guess the
They
money.
have to pay out dividends.
I don't know.
I don't know. I couldn't give you the particulars. I'd imagine that they. Well,
It made me
if
want to
it's-
open a Twitter now.
If he owns, I guess it would be divvied up between the people, because he didn't have all the 40 billion. I guess it would, the people that complemented the 40 billion, they would have some say so. But everyone else who had some say in Twitter,
okay. So it seems like this all happened simultaneously. So when Elon and his team bought Twitter, they paid out all the shareholders,
I mean, that's what it would seem like.
and then they took the company private. That's what it seems like, is what you're
Right.
saying. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know all the minute details, but that
It's still coming out. It's just
yeah.
happening.
Okay.
But the fact that he's already planning on unbanning Trump. I think they said Monday, which is tomorrow. Well, they said Monday.
Well, wait, by the time y'all see this, it'll already be Monday.
Yeah, I think they said Monday, so we'll see. But I'm with it.
I want him to bring back Top G, man. I would love, even if he doesn't use it, I would love just to see it.
He's going to use
If
it.
Elon would bring him back, because I was watching this. I don't know. It was a clip of him, and he was talking about. They were like, "Man, so how did this happen? Like, how did when you got canceled? Like, what actually happened?" He said, "I just started getting emails from random companies." He said, "We got an email from Airbnb." And they were just like, yeah, well, due to what's happening lately on recent online, we decided to cancel your account. He looked at the email. He was like, Airbnb. He said, I haven't used you guys in years. I didn't even know I had an account with you guys. I don't care. Like, they just wanted to jump on the bandwagon. Like, literally everyone canceled
But
him.
here's the thing, though. That's a private email. What bandwagon? Is Airbnb putting out a statement? We ban, like...
Who was it? How? This is what Kanye's talking about. How were they able to coordinate an attack like that?
Exactly.
That's just because you have, like,
All at the same time.
You have these couple people at the top, and they control all these companies. So it's like, okay, we ban him. If one person bans him, then you might get banned from 20 companies, bank accounts, your credit cards.
How do you get banned from a bank? How is it?
Kanye got dropped from Chase.
I know, but
That's crazy. I've never even heard that before.
This is my point, right?
For what?
And if what they're saying isn't true, how is it so coordinated? Like, you got to think.
Yeah.
Even if it's all coming from the top, it's coming from the same place. They're all different machines. They have different processes. You push the button and email, ding, ding, you're banned, PayPal, blah, blah, blah. All these companies are supposed to be independent companies or whatever.
You would have to hear, like, they're all not only just friends, but they're all owned by the same group of people. Not just banks.
There it is.
Just in general.
They're showing their hand, and people are too ignorant to see it.
Yeah.
And they think it's funny.
That's
and
why they
it's
eat
all
McDonald's every day and Chick-fil-A.
true.
Seriously.
True.
You're just clouded.
They're
You
clouded.
can't see it.
But they're they think it's funny and it's all good until it happens to them. But people, it never happened to me. But we're slowly but surely. I've been getting censored for years. I mean, none of the censorship is new. Because I was a content creator on YouTube before Google bought it. So I knew. You weren't creating content before YouTube, was it? Okay.
Oh yeah, they got it.
Before Google bought. So you see the shift that happened when Google bought it. It was a tremendous change in how everything functioned. And today I put out a video. I got a video that comes out every Sunday, 10:30 Central Time, A Healthy Alternative. Today I go, because I schedule my videos, and I go to check my video stats of my video. The video hasn't released yet. So I'm like, this is extremely frustrating. I know I put 10:30. I know I always put 10:30. So I go and I start the video. Of course, my momentum is kind of hurt because people be ready at 10:30 to watch my video. So when I put a video out a little bit late, unless it's got a great title and whatever, it hurts the momentum of the video. It just so happens that on my computer, when I went to schedule it, the screen was still up, And it told me this video was scheduled for, what is today, the 30th, October 30th at 10:30 a.m. But YouTube had it scheduled for 12 p.m. 12:30 p.m. So, cause I'll be scheduling videos. I'm like, why didn't this video come out on time? And I'd be thinking, okay, maybe I was just tripping. So I started laser focusing on it, and they would still every once in a while they wouldn't come out. Is that a mistake? Is that a technological mistake? One might think so, but it also really hurts my numbers when that happens. And people get unsubscribed from my channel. They remove comments. People can't leave comments. Or somebody will leave a comment, they'll shadow ban them. My Facebook group, I can't reach. I have zero organic reach in my own Facebook group. It's like, so they're not banning me like Top G or I guess they probably would have eventually banned Kevin Samuels, I'm assuming. But they're shadow banning me. Mm-hmm. They're controlling, my reach.
I think that's why it's important to get out of it, because if that's like your fallback, like if you didn't have like that mindset to be able to, get back on your feet in situations, not to say that your situation was like super duper crazy, but it affected it, that it's a little bit abnormal, but getting out of the matrix and getting, I watched the video, but Andrew Tate was talking about yesterday, where like he moves differently and how he has to speak differently now because he released some, I guess, like a threat that happened to him where he mentioned where he would get phone calls and he would pick up the phone call and it would be basically like a recording of a conversation that he had previously, like on the phone talking to someone. So that lets you know that he's being targeted and watched.
So private conversations are being recorded. Did you get the idea that wasn't the person that he was talking to recording it? Did you get the idea that a third party was recording his conversation?
I mean, that could be possible. But I think he was just going along the lines of saying that any conversation that he's having on the phone or anything, any kind of private conversation, when someone calls you at a later time and then you pick up the phone and all you hear is your voice, from a prior conversation that maybe happened a week ago or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, bro.
The technology is right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They can record. They do record everything.
And people, man, this is why I don't have Snapchat, man. Like I try to tell people, like Snapchat, they're this 7 years ago or something. They did an update, and I actually read some of the. I was laying in bed. I think I was actually hungover, and I'm laying in bed, and I'm just like, I don't have anything to do. I'm not going out again until later. Let me just read these. Let me just read these privacy. These whatever settings that you have to agree to. And then as I was going through them, I mean, literally, you just sold your soul to Snapchat. They can relay information to police without your knowing. If someone is looking for you and police contact them, they're going to give them your information. Any kind of recent any recent information that you have on the platform, they're going to relay. Anything that you're doing illegal, you give them the ability to give that to police. It also instantly starts recording you as soon as you open the app. So if you open the app, even if you're not recording, it automatically is recording audio and it records video, but it's just not showing. And then it also allows them to, of course, use anything that has been recorded on the platform for later. So even though it obviously deletes in your phone, Snapchat still has access to it.
Once it's created, it's out there.
And then it allows them to use it later for anything that they want. Mm-hmm. And you agree that you cannot sue them. So you don't even have the ability to sue them if you want to. If they did something inflammatory, you can't sue them.
This is the same thing that these DNA testing companies do. It's the exact same thing, only now they have your actual genetic material.
Yeah.
And so you give them you know,
Because we don't read those terms and conditions.
nobody reads it.
It's too much.
You know?
It's done like that on purpose.
It's done like that on purpose because simple contracts exist. So you go and get these DNA tests. You have Oprah and Barack Obama or whoever doing these DNA tests and promoting it and getting all these people, black people, to go and figure out what tribe they're from in Africa.
Come on, bro.
And meanwhile, the actual results you get are grossly insignificant. They're not even anything worth having, but they have use of your genetic material in perpetuity, and they can sell it. Oh my God! But you happy because you're from the west coast of Africa, and the name of the tribe you're from is Zuwela. Wakanda.
I'm a Wakandian.
And what are you even doing with that information? Absolutely nothing.
You
right?
just want to know.
So it's a scam, bro. I mean, I am developing an app. I have developed apps, and I am developing an app, and none of that is necessary. There's no reason that I need to record. There's no reason I need to monitor. The only reason you do it is for data mining,
Right.
or when people get out of line, they can essentially ruin your life.
Don't you think that's where we're headed? I feel like we're literally in the middle of it. Like we're transitioning.
It's happening.
To the way the world is moving. I just see it like the breakdown of the family. They're pushing an agenda where they have a guy. I'm pretty sure you see this, but this guy, I don't know what his name. I think it's Dylan.
Dylan Mulvaney
Oh my Lord in heaven!
went to interview Biden.
It's literally like a guy is cosplaying as a woman,
Okay.
but he considers himself
Not a woman, a girl.
a girl. But his reactions, it's over the top, like oh my God, like the stereotypical woman. That's how he's reacting. But if you see this person, you would be like, You can't be serious, like because I tried to avoid, because I know a lot of people, they do reactions to him, and I watch a lot of either Hodge twins, Tatum, what's her name,
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens. I was about to say Cassandra,
Cassandra.
Candace Owens, and all these other political commentators who lean towards the right. But I'm listening to them. I was like, I'm trying to avoid this because I don't want to see this. But I watched one yesterday with the Hodge twins, and it was funny, but it was sad at the same time, man, because this is meeting with the president of the country.
Like, bro, if I was a woman, I would be very upset at how things are going. I mean, I would be very upset.
We'll watch
they
some.
aren't though.
They're not. I mean, it's this. I don't understand.
They are in support of a lot.
It doesn't make sense.
The media tends to
because in real life, I mean, most people that I talk to have the same. We all agree. Most people are like, well, I don't want to, I don't talk about right. If they're recorded, then they try to be politically correct. But if you talk to people one-on-one, I mean,
we are going to watch some clips next week, and we'll see some like, how does this, like, just a reaction to it, because I saw this stuff and I'm just like, this is insane. This is insanity. This freaking society is wilding.
I don't get it.
They are wowing, and I'm just like, is it because I'm getting older that I'm just seeing this, or I'm the only one who just feels like this stuff is getting out of hand, It's just like, as Chris said earlier, man, it's just such a small community. It's just like, listen, I have no problem with what you do with your life. If you need to transition and all this stuff, I don't care.
Do your thing.
I don't care.
Like,
do what you want to do.
Why is this consistently being forced down my throat? Like, that's annoying. That's the part that's annoying.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to my children. I don't want you teaching gender identity to my children. I don't want to have that I had to have that conversation with my 8-year-old, and she's 9 now. Like, why should I have to have that conversation at that age? Like, it doesn't make sense. And when it's now being what causes us to speak out is when it's now being forced on us, and you're making it my business.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, bro, live your life. Do your thing. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't have any problem with anything you're doing. Just do your thing. I don't push I don't push myself
right,
on anybody.
none of us do that.
Like, bro, do your thing. But why? I mean, and you have Biden, who's such a bumbling idiot, who's in this interview, and Dylan is like, well, do you support having gender affirming
For children.
surgery and medicine for transgender kids and adults? Biden's like, oh yeah, I don't think that anybody should control what someone should be able to do with their body. Like, bro, you just affirmed that children should be able to go and get puberty blockers, which are
They're pushing that. Why? Why are they pushing
which
that?
is the
don't
same
know. That's
drug
new,
that they
right?
use for
How
chemical
insane is
castration
that?
for rapists, and it's Lupron. It's the same drug that they use. This is why you gotta watch the. You know what I'm saying? Gotta watch documentary.
Puberty blockers.
Yeah, what they say is that these puberty blockers, they just simply put your puberty on hold, like a pause button.
Yeah.
And then, in 5 or 6 years, if you decide that you want to then go back, then you just stop taking them and unpause them.
What is
Puberty
a
goes-
puberty? Like, what does that? Why are we
That
getting
is
puberty
BS.
insane.
blockers?
That is insanity.
It's BS.
It's like I can't even comprehend it. Like a puberty.
It'll
blocker
stop boys
for
from
what?
having. It'll stop boys from having erections. It'll stop them from getting testosterone. It literally stops them from going through puberty, and then it doesn't just go back to normal. Like, you can't just stop a biological process and expect things to go back to normal. But that's what doctors are
Well,
telling.
that's what
children.
birth control has been telling us, right?
Well, we know
You
that
can
birth
put
control is
pregnancy on
bad.
pause. Is it not the same thing?
Yeah.
You can put pregnancy on pause, and then all of a sudden now you have fibroids and all this stuff. But infant boys have erections. It's not a puberty thing.
Right.
It's a
It's biological.
It's a biological. Process, and it's a part of your health as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't listen. You could be transgender, all that. That's fine. You feel like a woman, that's fine. But you're biologically a man, so you're literally putting your life in danger.
Bro.
Because that process needs to happen. You don't get an erection just to have sex. Otherwise, infants wouldn't have it.
Right.
It's not something that happens at puberty.
People don't, and of course, if you're not a woman, unless you talk to men, you don't know that.
No, you don't.
We don't just get an erection just because, like, oh, I just want to have sex. Like, sometimes it just happens. I don't want you to be there right now. Actually,
Walking around like,
dang, where'd you, you know?
It's like gouging your eyes out.
Yeah.
Right. And replacing them with prosthetic eyes, and be like, I want to experience what it's like to be blind for a few years, and I'll pop them back in.
Yeah. It's the whole. I mean, listen. The whole thing is, bro. It's weird, and I agree. I tend to agree with the psychologists who say that it's a mental health issue.
I do. I believe
I don't. I think that some people can just say, you know what? Back in the day when we were growing up, you had regular gay people. Right, you had gay people, you had lesbian
regular gay
people.
people.
Like
gay
if you
you got men that
That's
like men.
what, just say, what are regular gay people?
like
Regular gay people.
they don't agree with this. They don't fall under.
regular gay
even their own
people
people don't community. Like, yo, man, I don't agree.
Well,
with
that's
this.
not their community though.
Yeah, that's true.
The LGBTQ community plus XYZ, that is specific. That's really
That's
for
all.
transgendered people,
Which is
and
an even smaller community. It's like 2% of the LGBTQ community, which is already small, and then that community is even smaller.
right. So they hijacked, which is what they do. They hijacked the gay agenda.
Yeah.
And they made it about transgender people. That's why so many gay people don't agree with it, because it's like, bro, we just want to be able to get married.
Yeah. Like we just if you want to be gay, man, go. Listen. I'm gonna sound how people be like, I got black friends.
I got gay friends.
I mean, I
got gay family
I don't think
members.
that I have I'm sure I have some gay friends. I mean, no one that I'm actively hanging out with on a day to day, but I don't have any. If you're gay, you're gay, man. I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
it's not like you're going up like, oh man, what my gay friends? What my gay
like
family?
I'm not
just gay.
You just
Be
gay. Like, bro, like that's fine. Like I'm comfortable with that. You can even be inflammatorily gay. Like I'm cool. Like do your thing. But it's all this extra, man. Like, come on, bro. You doing too much, man.
Like if you want to chop off your body parts, wait till you're an adult to make that decision.
Yeah, leave the kids alone,
Do
man.
not force your lifestyle upon the society, or just teach these kids these things that are not needed until they're an adult.
Talking about transgender kids, like what is
that?
what?
Is that a man who identifies as a child?
Like the child
Nah,
doesn't even know
they're-
anything
right.
about anything.
They're
They don't even know
children.
what you teach them.
They think that they can
Like their emotions fluctuate, they change, they're erratic, they're kids,
They're
they're
children.
growing. So if you try to stop their puberty, you're going to halt their growth.
You're gonna damage their.
Right, their brains,
Their entire system, man.
Bro,
It's crazy because we've seen this before in a different way when they put lead in everything.
Yeah.
You know, they were putting lead in paint. They were putting it in the gas. You know, that's why all the gas says unleaded. You know, and they saw, I think we already talked about this, but they saw a steep decline in the IQ of the country and other countries that had this lead over the span of time when they were putting lead in everything. And so now that they're making puberty blockers and all this stuff so popular, not to mention the chemical castration from McDonald's, I know for a fact that the IQ of the country has dropped dramatically because that's the only way that you can get people to agree to this stuff that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's literally idiocracy.
You have people that literally we know if in a real one-on-one scenario, not on the internet, you're not being recorded. You can easily ask somebody, "What is a woman?" They're going to tell you what a woman is.
Yeah.
But for women to actively say, "Well, I don't know what a woman is," like it to me, it's just like, are you?
It's BS.
It's disingenuous.
I mean, like,
they're trying to cater to an audience and not upset a particular.
And it's just like, bro, it's such. I mean, and listen, you can support them, but like, bro, I mean, you're not a like. Somebody said it very, very powerfully, and I think we can kind of button this up. But somebody said, you can't be a trans. You have women, you have men, and then you have transgender women and transgender men. They're not the same. They're four different things. So a transgender woman is not a woman. It's a transgender woman, right? What's the point of even having the term if you guys are the same? Why do we separate them? Well, because they're different. So you can't say this is a woman and you are a woman. You're not. You're a transgender woman, which I can accept that, right? But don't try to then say, well, I'm just a woman.
Yeah.
Like you're not the same. You don't have a uterus. You don't have a period.
There's a asterisk next to
Right.
your woman.
Right.
You're not, and it's okay. Like be a transgender woman. Be that, and I'm good with that.
And don't try to be a woman.
Yeah,
Just
stop
be
trying to be a woman.
Yeah.
Just be what you are, and that's why I don't understand why women like y'all just like how do y'all like? I would be upset, and the thing is, the craziest thing is that you don't have this on the man side. You don't have. Why don't we have this on the man side? It's literally
100%.
one-sided.
I've never thought about that. Yeah.
We don't have this on the man side. You don't see the issue with women becoming men or transgender men trying to be a man
Because a woman can't be a man in any capacity.
in any capacity.
And it's there's transgender men in sports. Go ahead, put them in sports.
Go ahead, put them in sports.
No sports team is going to take them, and if they do, they're going to be on the bench.
This is why this is why it's all one-sided, and it's like the if you can just look at that, then that should point out. This should show us that there's a problem here.
Yep.
So
Yeah, it's definitely a problem that's happening, and history is repeating itself, but just in a completely different way within modern society. Make sure you all subscribe to the channel, like the video, let us know your thoughts and stuff like that. This is the Application of Knowledge podcast. Chris James, Stephen Michael, I am Animated Male, and we will see you beautiful people next time.
all right.